I didn't speak until the judge asked if anyone else had a claim. That's when I stood. My father's head snapped toward me. My mother blinked like she didn't recognize me. My brother, Julian, scoffed under his breath, still smug even as their world crumbled around them. I didn't flinch. I didn't blink. I'm here to submit ownership documents for the house at 417 Wexley Drive, I said, voice steady. It belongs to me, not them. That was the moment. The crack in their illusion. The floor dropped beneath them, and the truth, my truth, swallowed them whole. But let me tell you how we got here. They used to call me the mistake, not even behind my back, to my face. My father said it half-jokingly, whenever I asked for anything that cost more than a pencil. My mother followed his lead like a shadow with a smile. Julian, though, he got everything. Private school, a car for his 16th, spring break trips funded like corporate retreats. Me? I bought my textbooks with dishwashing tips and worked overtime to afford bus fare. Still, I kept my head down. I thought maybe, one day, they'd see me, not as a disappointment, but as a daughter. That day never came. The will changed everything. Grandfather, my mom's estranged father, passed away quietly. I barely knew him. Saw him twice, maybe. Once at a funeral, once when I was 8 and he gave me a red marble and said, "You notice things, don't you?" I didn't understand him then. I do now. When the lawyer called and told me I was the sole beneficiary, not my mom, not Julian, not anyone else, I was stunned. $50 million. It felt like someone had hit undo on my whole life. Like the universe was finally whispering, "Now it's your move." I didn't tell a soul, not even my friends. I acted like nothing changed, because in their eyes, it hadn't. I was still the charity case at Thanksgiving, the afterthought in family group chats, the one expected to clean up while Julian sipped champagne. But I was watching now, closely, and they were unraveling. My father's business collapsed after a fraud investigation. My mother's credit cards maxed out, propping up their lifestyle. Julian, he'd racked up loans, gambling, and posing on Instagram like royalty. That's when I started buying. First, their house, quietly, through a shell company. Then the cars, the art on the walls, even the lease to the office building Dad used to own. All bought under layers they couldn't trace. The best part? They begged me for help without realizing it. "Can you lend us just a little, honey?" my mother said once, fake tears and all. "We'd pay you back as soon as your father lands on his feet." I asked, "Would you have lent me money if I'd asked last year?" She didn't answer. I said I'd think about it. I didn't. The bankruptcy hearing was the final stage. I waited until the creditors listed off their assets. The judge asked about the house. Dad stood, puffed up like the man he used to be. "It's ours," he said. "We've lived there for 20 years." That's when I stood. When I pulled out the deed, signed, stamped, unassailable. "I bought it last August," I said. "They've been tenants ever since." My father turned pale. My mother made a choking sound. Julian leaned forward, squinting. "You? You bought it? With what? Coupons?" I looked at him then, truly looked. Spoiled, soft. The golden child turned rust. "With money," I said, "the kind you earn when people underestimate you." Afterward, they didn't speak to me. Not that it mattered. I wasn't there for closure. I was there to end the charade. They moved out a week later, quietly, like ghosts in the daylight. The house? I donated it to a women's shelter. Seemed fitting. A place where people would actually be seen. Julian called once, asked how I did it. I paid attention, I said, and I waited. Sometimes revenge doesn't need fire or fury. Sometimes it looks like silence. A blank expression in a courtroom. a signature on a deed, a locked door that used to be yours. I still don't spend much. I live in a modest apartment, drive the same used car. People think I'm strange for it. But I don't need validation. I don't crave their applause. I've already won. They just didn't realize it until I stood up and said, "The owner of that house is me."